it's Sam, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Eli Roth's Hostel, co-produced by Quentin Tarantino. This was one of the first films that looked at the torture porn genre. This film is distinctively in two parts. You have the first 40 minutes, which is just getting to know all the characters, not as entertaining as the last half. The last half is the whole point in the hostel. The premise of this film is that people can go to this place in Slovakia and they can pay to kill and torture and rape people, other humans that have just been kidnapped away from their normal lives, and they pay a high price to do whatever they want to them. Supposedly this is based on a true story, but I don't know about that. Now the film is about these three backpackers that are going across Europe to get some ladies, and they start off in Amsterdam, and there's two American guys and a Swedish guy who they picked up on along the way. You find out later on that the Swedish guy is actually a father as well to a little girl. That doesn't really have any relevance to the film whatsoever. These three people in Amsterdam, they're going out clubbing and drinking, trying to get women, and they end up going to like brothels and places like that. But one of them doesn't want to get laid in a brothel. He wants to actually have like a girl that he's met. He doesn't want to pay for her, and they go back to their hostel late at night, and they get locked out because they're after curfew. And there's this guy, I think he's called Dimitri, and he tells them to go to Slovakia, and there's meant to be loads and loads of beautiful women there who will just go with anybody, and they believe it. I don't know why, but they just believe it. They believe this random guy they've never met before, and so they go to Slovakia, and they go to this hostel, and there is a lot of women there, and they get lots of women, and they're having a great time, and then one of them goes missing, and that's when the story takes a turn for the worse. Then it's that's the start of the second half of the film, the dark side. The first half of the film is just getting to know the characters a bit. It's got lots and lots of boobs in it, which is it was a bit over the top, a bit unneeded. Says it on here, it contains strong bloody violence, torture and strong sex. All the sex is in the first half of the film. There is none in the last half. I'm pretty glad about that. The feeling of this film is disgusting. This film just makes you feel absolutely horrendous. I was watching it, and the first 40 minutes is absolutely fine. It's fine. You don't feel anything. You just like the characters. See this creepy guy on a train, but apart from that, and that as soon as you see inside of the hostel, you start to feel horrible. Like, this film will make you feel disgusting, and I think it's just the concept of a place like this hostel, a place like this in the world might exist, and it's shown how nasty human nature is inside this hostel with all the people that pay to kill them, and they're acted very well, I'd say, by some foreign people I've never seen in any of the films, and I'm glad that I've never seen them, because then it makes them unique. Like, they wouldn't, if it was somebody famous, like, I don't know, Morgan Freeman, you'd be expecting him to play an amazing part, an amazing role. These people are so creepy, and it's just disgusting. The first time I saw this film, I actually felt sick after watching it, but then I persisted and watched number 2 like an idiot. I don't know why I did that. Number 2 isn't very good. I might do a review of that if I buy it, but you know, until then. Basically, Hostel's just gory and disgusting when it gets to that point. I would highly recommend only watch it. I would recommend this film just for the feeling of the disgust alone, only if you want to feel that. If you go in and you were expecting to enjoy the violence like Saw, or something like a film like Saw, just a slasher film, You go there for the deaths. You go there to see how people are going to die. This film, you go there to see how horrible these people actually doing this are. And there's a scene in the film where one of the boys meets a man who's just about to go into the just about to go in and commit his first murder. He's paid a lot of money for this special treat that the people organising it have gotten. I won't spoil who the treat is, but you see how he is as a character, and he's really looking forward to it, and he's so hyped up. It just makes you feel absolutely terrible that some people in the world probably do feel like this. The gore in this film is quite horrific. My favourite scene of the film has to be when the guy is getting dragged through the hostel to get strapped to a chair, and the guards are pulling him by the arms down the corridor, and you see like the camera like tracks up the corridor and all the rooms along the sides of the corridor. I don't really understand this because the doors are open so you can see what these people are doing to everyone. It doesn't really make sense in the rest of the film because whenever you see a corridor in the rest of the film, all the doors have been closed because people want their own privacy. I don't understand why there's a random door, like everyone's got their door open at that certain moment in the film. And the camera tracks down the corridor, and every door it passes you see someone getting tortured and killed in a horrible, horrible way. Then it stops on his friend getting dismembered and cut open by the creepy guy on the train. The ending of this film is alright. I'd say it was a decent ending, but there was, like, after the gore and the violence inside this place, it felt like it was just, the film was just going on, and then you just feel like you're expecting more gore, and it ends on a not very nice note, but it isn't as gory as the other parts of the film. So when you see like a slasher or a horror film like this, usually expect to see the most gory scene at the end of the film. There is a scene with someone with a blowtorch in their eye and that eye dripping off. That's rather disgusting, but the actual end of the film, there's a lot of blood, but it isn't gory. They wrecked the ending of the first one by putting it by trying to tie the storyline in with Hostel 2. Personally, I didn't think they should have made a Hostel 2, but I'm not going to talk about that now. Yeah, the edition I've got here is the unseen edition. I think that has one scene in the film that wasn't in the cinema. I haven't seen the original cut of it, so I don't know what wasn't seen in the cinema. But all in all, this is a very, very good, horrible, horrible film. If you want a horrible experience and to feel terrible whilst you're watching this, you should watch it. If you're a fan of gore, you should watch it. If you're a fan of horror and stuff that messes with you, because this won't mess with your mind, but it will just make you feel disgusting. On IMDb it got a 5.8 out of 10. I'm guessing that a lot of people didn't rate this highly because they weren't fans of the horror genre. I am a huge fan of horror. I do like gory films. I enjoy the Saw films, like I said in my previous video, but this film is the pinnacle of torture porn at the moment. There are films out there that I do not plan to watch, which I have heard are a lot worse, like a Serbian film. I would definitely not watch that film, just because it involves raping a baby, killing a baby, and then raping the baby again. This has been my review for Hostel Part 1 by Eli Roth. I hope you enjoyed the review. I give it a 7 out of 10, but I only give it a 7 because the first half of the film isn't very good, it's a bit boring. The last half of the film is extreme. I would recommend this to people who enjoy gore, but don't watch this film if you're into fluffy kitties and little horses bouncing around. Thanks, this has been my review. Hope you enjoyed it.